And I'm sorry, Commissioner, that was in the end of my report.
That's the end of yours?
Yeah. And
Okay.
Ms.
and-
Johnson the clerk is at a state clerks meeting today.
Okay, then I have Mr. Alan Pierce.
Item number one, report to the board that I attended the Water Management District on April 27th. While the meeting was advertised to discuss the district's interest in restore projects, that discussion was never held. The meeting was spent discussing changes to various other projects the district is working on, specifically the swim program. And the Apalachicola Bay swim program, which stands for Surface Water Improvements, was not discussed at all because of the litigation between the state of Florida and the state of Georgia. The governor's office has asked the Northwest Florida Water Management to withhold any discussion about the Apalachicola Bay swim program or any other improvements. So that discussion wasn't even held. It'll be held at a separate time. So that was sort of a waste of a trip. Number two, Commissioner Sanders' trip was more successful, though. She went to the consortium meeting and where they did reelect Warren Yeager as an officer of the consortium. So the 8 counties still has a membership on the executive board. So that was good.
Yeah, I did something I never will do again. I drove down there and back in the same day. I will never do that again.
Could you tell us about the meeting, or?
Yeah, there was, we had some people up for the vice presidency, which we would worry about. Nobody challenged Grover Robinson as chairman. But on the vice chairman, there was a Chris Constance from down south that challenged him, and by a vote of the board, Warren Yeager's back in there. So your officers now for the consortium is Grover Robinson, Escambia County, Warren Yeager, Gulf County, and George Nugent out of Monroe County. And that's your people. The two things that came up that I was concerned about, in fact, one of them was one that I voted against, along with Sarah Commander out of Walton County, was the ESA consultant that are doing the plan for the consortium. We went into a contract with them for $1.7 million to write the plan to send to the state. And now, because of things taking a turn, which it's taking more time, it's taking more energy, they asked to amend their contract another right at $1 million. So their contract is going to be $2.7 million, and I voted against that. I thought we needed to stay with what we had voted for. They said that myself and Commissioner Commander was very strong on it, and they said what it was, there's some triggering issues there that the money won't go out until it triggers in. And then Mr. Mike Landon, I guess he's one of the owners of ESA or something. I know he was there. He said, well, I have $90,000 worth of work that I haven't got paid yet for. And I said, well, that's one of the conditions was you ain't gonna get paid until the consortium gets paid, you know. But you know, I mean, you knew that.
You want to check what?
So, yeah, we didn't have everybody there, but the general consensus was to let them have the money. The other thing that we had been talking about very, very strongly was about the procurement with Leon County, the procurement policy. And there was a decision that came back that said because it was not bidded out underneath the bid policy, that we could not just go and let Leon County have it. So the executive committee made it in their wisdom to expand the scope of work for ESA to take that over for a little extra money. So anyway, it was interesting. It was worth the drive.
Glad you were there.
And I was there. That's the important thing. I was there. I was real concerned about them wanting that other, million. Well, it's $900 and something thousand, but it's $1 million. And one of the gentlemen, they got really kind of nasty toward myself and Commissioner Commander.
Ain't the first time.
Well, I'm not worried about it. I mean, like I said, I love everybody, but I got to do what I got to do, you know. But anyway, that was all it was. As far as the updates, there was an update from, I was trying to think of it, the professor down there at the MOA Institute down there. And he said that they had been doing drillings in the Gulf, and that they are finding oil on the bottom in there. And I'll have to get you the report and get Alan or Michael to to copy y'all. It's a real big report, but it's very interesting, very interesting. That took about an hour to listen to that. So anyway, all in all, it went good. We're gonna have our next meeting before too long, and I'll be there too, so.
I think your next meeting will be June 28th at your FAC conference. in
Yeah,
July, so.
I'll be
Yeah.
there too. So anyway, and then y'all can come in on that one because we'll all be at conference and
We'll give you
listen.
moral support.
Well, and every time Commissioner Whitmore from Manatee County, you know, I'm the one that she got to kicking up things at the last meeting before this one, and you know, she got aggravated at me because I walked out of the meeting because it was no use. Couldn't make no decision. She kept on looking at me. Every time she said something, she kept on looking at me to see if I was going to walk out of the meeting. But when it comes to a point that you're stalemate, there's no sense in going in there and keep on haggling and wasting people's time, you know? But anyway,
All right, Mr. Allen.
Y'all don't know it's gonna go up another million by next year.
oh yeah.
Yeah, well, this
Okay.
treasury's dragging it around.
I just believe it. I just believe that there's not going to be no cap on it. And you can't help it because the scope of work and the range of work has changed so much that what they thought it was going to be originally is not what it is. And they're changing every time you turn around. And, but I can tell you too, our representative from Dewberry was down there at the consortium, and they had a meeting previously during the day, and they said he did a very good presentation, very good.
That's good to hear.
Yeah. So,
All right,
Thank you,
last
Al.
item is a ruling Alligator Point. Board action to approve a change order for $43,117.50 to Coastline Clearing to increase the volume of rocks at Alligator Point revetment and to approve the final payment for this request, for this project. And on the same note, the board action to approve payment of professional services of $9,447 of Pebble Ridge for services associated with getting the permit to repair the revetment. Both of these expenses are FEMA eligible and both will be submitted to FEMA for reimbursement. The change order closes out the work to be done on the revetment, so it's done now in case you all have noticed more rocks down there. And this also closes out one of the remaining FEMA projects on Alligator Point. The other remaining project is the relocation of Gulf Shore Boulevard. The FEMA review should have been completed by April 30th, but it has not been. I checked my email this morning, it's still not been. I'm very, very frustrated with what we're gonna do on Gulf Shore Boulevard. I'll get to that in a second, but let me go ahead and get board action then to approve the change order for Coastline Clearing and to approve the additional expenses for Pebble Ridge.
so move.
Second.
Have a motion second on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
So then, just to let you know, parenthetically, on Gulf Shore Boulevard, I think what the board is forced, and I'm going to do it on y'all's behalf, is to ask for an extension. I don't want to ask for an extension. I want to solve the project. I want to get it over with. This is ridiculous. It's 5 years waiting to get an answer out of FEMA. I'm just frustrated.
What do you need us to do, Alan?
There's nothing to be done. I mean, I can't even get a conference call with people from FEMA. I mean, they just are a black box that will operate on their own schedule.
Well, and right now, it's not a good time to contact
No.
your federal legislators either, so.
So we'll continue to try and get something, maybe something will come out. I will say that on Thursday, I'll be on Alligator Point with the Archie Carr Turtle Institute at the University of Florida, who are going to be doing a minor beach cleanup at the Ballpoint State Park, which is really at the north end of Gulf Shore Boulevard, but they're going to be doing, they got some money from either NERDA or NIFWIT. I don't know which one they got money, but I'm going to go down there and talk to them and walk the beach. I'm hoping to get them to get more money to do more beach cleanup down there. So NIFWIT has a large source of money, and the Archie Carr Institute is the leading turtle institute in the state of Florida, and I think they'll be able to assist us get more money down there. So that's the goal. And with that, that's the end of my report.
Thank you.
All right, Commissioners, item 1, inform the board that FWC Commission meeting scheduled for June 20th to June 24th has been moved from the third floor courtroom to the Franklin County School in East Point. As the attached letter states, FWC is expecting a larger than usual crowd, so a bigger venue with additional parking and staging areas are needed. Basically, Commissioners, it's about the bear hunt, and they're expecting yays and nays and signs and everything else there. Item 2, inform the board of Franklin County SHIP, the 2016-2019 LHAP that you approved last week has been approved by the state. Item 3, inform the board that the Department of Economic Opportunity has responded to the county's letter requesting assistance to seafood workers. A copy of the letter is attached, and basically they will continue working with the county through workforce. I see Commissioner Sanders giving me that look. Item 4, because we kind of knew the answer, but we have to ask anyway. Item 4, board action to support and authorize the chairman's signature on a letter of support for the city of Caravel and Caravel's Historic Society's 2017-2018 small matching $60,000 grant application. This grant is Phase 4 for the preservation of the Caravel Old City Hall. We've done previous phases, Commissioners.
Yeah, we've supported this for about 4 years now, I think, 3 or 4 years. So I make a motion that we go ahead and support this letter.
Have a motion second on the floor. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
Item 5, board action to support and authorize the chairman's signature on a resolution proclaiming May 9th as Child Welfare Professional Recognition Day. A copy of the resolution and a letter from Congresswoman Frederica S. Wilson is attached to your board packet.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion second on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Item 6, inform the board that the Florida Shore and Beach Preservation Association Annual Conference is on September 14, 16 in Naples, Florida. Item 7, here we go. Inform the board that the Finance Office is preparing to send out the budget letters and forms, which will be due back by June 1st to all county departments and constitutional offices. Unless the board has different advice, the letter, a draft is attached, will read, please keep your request at your current adopted budget. Any increases will need to be justified to the board. Also, would the board like the non-governmental agencies to attend the budget workshop or keep funding them at current levels?
We got a problem with a couple of them we need to see.
Okay, so we want
I
them
agree
here.
with Mr. Noah.
Okay.
We do.
I'll let Erin know when she presents the two dates to include.
Remember what the elderly services said? We're gonna
Yes.
have to relook at those 3 that they pointed out.
Yes,
They
especially
said.
as they get closer to working towards the lead agency for that program.
Yeah,
Excuse me, which 3? The grant
they
programs?
never did really say, but I think I know who they are.
Yeah.
Like the Alzheimer's program, or there were 3 programs that we were
There's
not
3
taking?
programs.
Okay.
that- Yeah, that's what they said. There was 3 non-governmentals that we give money to that we need to relook at.
Okay.
Hold on
Allocation of
just a
money.
minute. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Alan Pfeiffer, Concerned Citizens, Franklin County. There's been multiple letters, different letters that go out every year to the various constitutional officers and county departments. The one that has worked best is the one that says, and it's a shade of what you said, is that no budgets are to be submitted that exceed last year's budgets. Should you need additional money, put that on an auxiliary budget as a request to be discussed at the workshop, versus going ahead and exceeding it right off the bat and then giving your support. The 1-2 punch has worked better in the past rather than coming in with the higher number to begin with, and I would request that the letter that be sent to the department's constitutionals have that wording rather than just support your additional needs. Thank you.
What I could do is send to the clerk's office, I'll send Mr. Pfeiffer's concern and have the clerk, who will be here at the next meeting, address the board as to the specific wording and what works for the board.
Yeah, because we usually get the letters out by May 1st, this month.
Yeah, that would put a
Yeah.
tight,
Well, just have her like she did them last year.
but that's basically what they're
Don't put
using.
any increase in there, and if you have to put increase, or don't put no increases in there. If you do, be there to justify why.
That's what it says.
And that's what
That's
yeah,
what
that's what I'm
it
at, okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Look, this is a new process to me this year.
Oh.
Tell me.
That's right, Commissioner.
The request to the non-governmental agencies and the department heads says, bring the same budget you had last year. If you want additional funds, it has to be supplemental, and we have to discuss.
You have to
and approve
justify
it.
it, Commissioner, yes,
You
sir.
have to justify.
And that's what was done last year, and that seemed to work
Yes.
well, right?
It actually, last year was changed from the previous year. The previous year did ask for a supplemental. Last year's didn't lack that language, I believe. And I'm asking that we go back to the one that asked for a supplemental. Just come in with your budget as last year's. If you need more, have a supplemental budget. Thank you.
Isn't that what we're saying?
Yeah, more or less.
Because I want to know what the budget was last year.
Well, that,
Yes.
You have to, let's show you what the budget was last year.
Well, again, that's what they're saying, is come in with what you had last year. If you have an increase, explain your increase, basically what it is. Okay. Item 8, speaking of the non-governmental agencies, inform the board that due to a lack of funding, Gulf County Transportation was unable to accept any appointments for Franklin County residents during the last week of April. Gulf County Transportation was designated the county's Community Transportation Coordinator, CTC, in December of 2015, which makes them responsible for providing transportation to anyone that qualifies under the Transportation Disadvantage Non-Sponsored Program. One of the main causes of the funding shortfall is that the previous county CTC did not qualify for the US DOT 5311 2015-2016 grant, which is approximately $60,000. In addition, Gulf County Transportation was unaware of the county's match, which is $840 per month for this program. Even though Gulf County was officially designated in December of 2015, is the board interested in authorizing the release of the October and November 2015 match funds that were not claimed, along with the funds from December 2015 to, and that should probably read April 2016, which is due to them? This might help reduce any further incidents like what happened in April.
I believe they should get it because, I mean, they ran out of money. And it wasn't no fault of their own. They didn't know the program. They didn't know we give them matches. Go and tell them, I wouldn't have told them either. But, I'm gonna make a motion. I'm gonna make a motion, we get them.
I second that motion.
Have a motion second on the floor, all in favor? All opposed? Motion carries.
The people suffering without it.
I have a question. This was handled by a county vendor, right? And then they lost the
Yeah, it
contract?
was.
Yeah, it was a local, someone, yeah, a company based in Franklin County.
Now, in the budget process, are we going to look at having a vendor locally? It's kind of like the senior service. I'd
They-
rather keep these in county if I could.
Yes, sir, but DOT controls who gets this
The county
contract.
participate, but someone else really makes the selection process. You have to bid with the Regional Planning Council to get money from the feds to run disadvantaged transportation systems. So it's not, we're a small part of this funding pie.
Yeah,
But we had someone,
and we have no control over the contract, to be honest with you, Commissioner, that's what you're asking.
Yeah, the contract isn't let by the Board of County Commissioners, nor do you decide who it is. We just provide funding to whoever gets the contract.
Yeah.
and then this vendor wasn't making trips
Right.
at
I
some
don't know
point?
what they were
The previous one, the local one?
This one right here that you're talking
Well, yeah,
about.
the last week of the month, they had no more funding, so they could not do the necessary trips for TD.
So we're going to lose money that was held back from the previous vendor who's out of business now, trying to give it to Gulf County to keep them in business.
To help give them flow.
So the contract will continue for next year with the
Yes.
same vendor, in
With
the
this
same situation?
Yes, under ARPC, yes. But
It'll
it's not their fault,
continue.
Commissioner, I want to be clear that they took over in the middle of a contract, and they were kind of thrown in there because the FDOT did not, ARPC did not work. The previous contractor was not fulfilling the contract in the manner that
I
they.
understand. I was just thinking in the budget cycle, if this issue's coming up, but not.
It will, well, just what we participate, what we give them to help them with the program, like a match is basically what it is. Because for some of the rides, they only get 50%, other rides, they get 90%. So that match helps, makes up that difference for them. That's where we are with that. Okay, item 9, since on the bill list, we didn't make that payment, that basically tables item 9 until we make that payment off the bill list, which in turn affects item 10, because we can't do 10 without 9. And I will recommend right now, if we go ahead and just, I postpone, basically I'm going to postpone 9, 10, and 11, Commissioners. They're all intertwined. And since we postponed item 9 on my report, it affects 10 and 11, if that's okay with the board.
I'll make a motion that we table items 9, 10, and 11 on the county coordinator's report until the next meeting.
Next meeting, yes, ma'am.
Now, Mike,
Yes, sir.
if I might, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
You're going to have a meeting with some of these people that is affected by what we're doing here?
Oh, yes. If
And
the
try to
board
straighten
would,
out some of these issues?
yes, if you
I'll
guys
let
would
that-
direct me, I'm sorry, that's a very good idea, Commissioner. If this board would direct me to have
A sit
coming to
to?
Jesus meeting,
Okay.
basically, with all parties concerned, Mark and myself. Let's get this worked out, so at the next meeting, before we vote on these, I will give you the proposal, the options that we have, and the board could direct me, and then we'll go ahead and move forward with these 3 items.
Especially, I like when you having this meeting, the last line on item number 9, that $4,200. I would like you to have a discussion about that too. I think you know where I'm at on that,
Okay,
in particular. I just think that's a lot of money to tell us what kind of equipment we need.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I had a question for Commissioner Parrish. What are the issues?
Mr. Morone can bring you up to date, I'd rather.
basically, staff has been getting complaints that the local contractors are not getting paid. And so, when the more Mark, actually it's more Mark, so, in trying to investigate, fingers start to point. It's the architect, it's the chief, the general contractor, is the engineer. We're getting fingers pointed everywhere, but we can't get everybody in one room to sit down and work this out. So if I have the board behind me on that, then, if nobody gets paid, until we all work it out, money speaks.
Somebody will be here.
That's why I made the motion.
Yes.
Okay.
The
I agree.
architect wants to get paid, the engineer wants to get paid, but the contractor and the subcontractor don't get paid. Okay? If we all got a problem, then we all got a problem. If we got a problem, nobody gets paid till we solve this problem. That way everybody
I agree.
gets treated fairly and equitably.
And I noticed the general contractor didn't want to be involved in the purchase of the
Yes.
kitchen equipment.
That's-
What's that all about?
That's what's causing item 10, Commissioner.
That's
Yes,
something that
sir.
needs to happen at the meeting. Let's don't get into
Yeah.
that publicly. Mike can explain that to you one-on-one, Commissioner.
Thank you.
One of those things, Commissioner. Item 14, board action to grant a moratorium, I'm sorry.
Got a motion, but
Oh.
no second, we have to vote.
I have
Yes, I'm
motion and
sorry.
second on
To
the
direct-
floor. All in favor?
That's to direct staff to have
Yeah.
this meeting we're talking about?
Yes.
Yep.
Second.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item 14, board action to grant a moratorium on the issuance of any additional vendor permits on St. George Island until staff and Attorney Schuler, he doesn't know about this yet, has opportunity to review the peddler's ordinance, which is 9614. The original intention of the ordinance was to control the empty lot known as the county parking lot on St. George Island for vendors. Staff is concerned that there might be more requests for vendor permits than there is space. Staff would like the opportunity with Attorney Schuler to review the area that is referred to in the ordinance and perhaps tweak some of the wording in the ordinance.
Mr. Chairman, as he said, this is the first time hearing about.
Surprise!
Hello. You cannot enact a moratorium by a motion and vote of the board. You actually have to adopt an ordinance. We've done this once before, years ago, if you remember, when we were having a lot of condominium type development back in the heyday.
Sure.
The board adopted an ordinance imposing a limited moratorium while you examine that issue. You certainly can do that in this case as well. Now, whether you need to do that by declaration of an emergency and adoption of an emergency moratorium by a 4/5 vote of the board is a decision that you would have to make based on the recommendation from staff. But I think you would need some more information as to why it is now an emergency and we can't just, advertise in the usual course and adopt an ordinance at a
Well,
future date.
we probably could, because actually there's no timeline for when we issue a peddler's license, so we can just sit on any applications until we get.
Well, no, we have to properly process.
Oh, I prefer we do it the other way.
Well, we have, basically, when the summer season's coming up, and
That's-
people are wanting to get out there, and this peddler's situation was intended to resolve a long-standing sort of tradition of having people sell fresh seafood on the side of the road, and now the uses have expanded beyond that, and we don't want to get back to the battles we had 10, 15 years ago, when we had all kind of people selling stuff, that people who had traditional commercial businesses, were also trying to sell. There's a tremendous inequity in the cost of providing those sales, and we are just trying to stay out of that same.
So has the Planning and Zoning Office received a number of calls inquiring?
Yes, that's what's worrying me.
How many would constitute a lot? More than 3 or more than 10?
No, more than 10. Here's the biggest problem I'm having. I don't know how much space we actually have We have a general space. I don't know how many lots, how many areas we can assign a vendor. So we're accepting applications, and we're saying first come, first serve.
What I'm understanding is one vendor would like to occupy the whole thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the issue that we're running
Occupy
into.
the paid parking spot
And he
over
get
on
things-
St. George?
No, the cross,
There's a dirt next to what used to be the Mexican restaurant across from Blue Parrot, you know,
yes,
where they are
on the west
now.
side.
Yes.
well,
And
one
I
person
have-
wants to buy a peddler's license or whatever, but they want to occupy the whole thing. And there's no stipulations in our rules that allows us to
As
do
to what size
that.
they can have, what's a lot, you know, what you
Because
get.
there's 10 or
for
12
money.
permits out there, and if one person occupies the whole space,
Yeah.
Right.
that's the issue we're having.
And not only that, from what I understand, they're wanting to do more than what we considered selling with agricultural products, like your shrimp, your peanuts, and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Now they're getting into the swim gear and all that, from what I understand.
Yes, ma'am.
So, you know, we really need to check it to see what they can really sell on the road.